Hello. Welcome to the 11th session of the Site 42 playtest, potentially even the last one. I believe the next thing that we have to do here is we're going to go to the break phase and do all of that stuff. And then we'll have probably the last testing phase of our playtest here. We have a couple of paperwork prompts that are owed to us, but first let's go over just what is going on with the department heads themselves. General Gilbert Burns doesn't have any conditions, which is not usual for him. Dr. Imogen Cerulean has haunted by the memory of Harley still. That was a very fun time last session. We have Superintendent Arena Jarvis with Employee of the Month still, and someone has to do it after saving Dr. Cerulean from being Harley Cerulean. And Officer Holden Lafayette still has the stage 1 fear condition, the darkness of Sandy. We have answered all of the questions for the womb of the mother, except for the optional one. You can still do that if you want to. And in fact, I was checking earlier today, and there are enough clues and star clues if you wanted to answer that question with a full +3. You wouldn't necessarily be able to do too much with the thing that it unlocks, because again, this is probably going to be one of the last episodes, but regardless, you can still do that if you want to. Just help you with some context for everything else. And yeah, we're gonna go ahead and go into the break phase here. And let's start off with some paperwork prompts. Let's start with Officer Lafayette.
Okay, so the first time I was in the industry, right? That's the paperwork that I have to fill.
Yes, narrate a flashback to your first job in the security industry.
Okay. So it's like the early 2000s. And you see, you open up a big, you see two big buildings, are the Twin Towers. And you see Lafayette and one of a young Lafayette and one of the running. He's running from office to office. And it's 10th of September of 2001. And he's running and he's going, and the people don't understand what's happening. And he opens up the door to let's don't say names, but let's suppose that was the vice president, and say, Mr. Vice President, I have an urgent memo to tell you. And he has a folder, and he watches, and Lafayette is scared as hell. And the vice president closes the folder, says, don't worry. Have you ever heard of Site 42? Cut.
Ooh. Interesting. Dr. Cerulean, I believe you're next.
Wonderful. I have changed what I originally filed to narrative flashback to when you were recruited by Sun. Here we go. Case file A-0312. Containment difficulty simplex. Personal danger observe. Normalcy effect dreaming. The Gooseworks event. A-01312 was a concert in Toronto where during a certain song known only as the Blue Song, every audience member was found dead and operated on, except two classified as 0312-A and 0312-B. Both subjects' hair had been permanently dyed blue. Mandela bacterium were applied to both, but 0312-A proved resistance to bacterium. 312-A, due to their scientific background, was recruited to SUN on the spot for further observation and for future endeavors.
Wow. That's fucking crazy. I'm gonna talk a lot about that in Stars and Wishes.
By the way, Steph, the number I picked is the length of that song.
Yeah, of course it is. Oh, ooh, it's so good. Fuck. Okay, all right, all right. How dare you pander to me like this? How dare it work? Okay. Oh, all right. So now in our break phase, are y'all going to study a case file? Because I do believe that we need to figure out some things about dimensional travel and stuff. And I think those are projects currently.
Yes.
So I don't know
Yeah.
that it can actually happen in this testing phase.
Yeah.
Well, it might be able to, depending on what you do. I'll probably add it as a keeper reaction that you can just add boxes to a project, like check marks. Because I think that makes sense. Anyhow, are you going to watch study a case file?
I think with like just like a sort of studying for dimensional travel, we don't really need to go anywhere, quote unquote. So like doing a case file back at Site 42 probably is the most useful of our time.
All right. If we're all in agreement, let's take a look at the case files. You currently have access to the Palimpsest, Big Slappy, and Burger Store.
I think Burger Store is explicitly extra dimensional, correct?
Mhm.
It is.
Ah,
It is, in
What?
fact.
I have concerns, but I think that's a good bet for our case file.
I mean, Big Slappy is also extra dimensional.
Oh,
very,
cool.
very, in fact.
oh,
It's got named things that are, of course, redacted, but like they're the names I know. I know the names. They're real names. I just redacted them after the fact.
So where were we the last time we were in action?
I I believe we were like sort of wrapping up our investigation phase, and where we did like answer a question about how to contain the womb without destroying it, and the womb must be contained in a separate dimension. However,
Oh yeah,
however,
I
we're
was wondering
yeah.
if Lafayette could see a Sandy.
Yeah.
That'll probably happen, yeah.
Yeah,
Especially
yes.
because you have to spend the testing phase that's upcoming here. In future versions of the game, it's going to be called the management phase because it's easier to distinguish that way. But we're still using the earlier rule set because I don't want to just change things in the middle because it's a little jarring and annoying. That was an with experience behind it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like yes, Sandy is at site 42 at this point, so
Yeah.
so I think that's that's something that's easily handled.
Yeah, she's being contained, and by that I mean she's effectively sitting there because she wants to.
She wants to meet you.
She's so excited about it, in fact. But yeah, so you have those are your options. Which one are y'all gonna study?
My vote's Big Slappy.
I was gonna vote Burger Store because of the whole meat connection, but I'm cool with Big Slappy also.
I was wondering if General Gilbert Burns would like to come with me to see Sandy.
I would. In terms of case files, like I think just because like Burger Store is a more of a quote unquote location that may be more relevant to us. So as well as being an entity location. So yeah, my vote is for Burger Store.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
Denied my Big Slappy.
I love
No
Big
Big
Slappy.
Big Slappy loves you too. It's okay. All right. So, are we going to answer the optional question for the womb? Do y'all want to?
I would like to try if it's okay with all of you.
Yes.
Yes, I specifically asked to hold off on it so like you could be involved with the theorize because I
saw
think
it. I saw
yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
So the clues that we have are dolls that all seem to look like Sandy, an umbilical cord turned into a jump rope, anomalies when impassioned revert to their most comfortable form, and you have two star clues as well. Director Star talking to Heartboil out of the corner of out of General Gilbert Burns' eyes, and Site Director Star's voice in a radio jingle for a foodstuff sponge. It's what's for lunch.
Sponge for lunch. Right. So the umbilical cord.
Oh, and I should say what the question is too. What caused the womb to appear?
The umbilical cord.
Sort of a birthing imagery sort of types of things it needed to give birth.
Right. And all this, we don't know if there are copies of Sandy's or are like just aborted versions of Sandy. And the sponge is a subliminal message to get out of the womb of the mother. Okay, am I clear? So
sort
the sponge, you have the sponge, and that's you got the umbilical cord, and all this let's say aborted versions of Sandy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which are represented by the dolls.
Yeah. Here, this the jingle is the spot is the let's see how to put it. It's the advert. It's a warning to come out of the womb.
Yeah, it's sort of I think it's also sort of representative of like the distortion, because like sponge, it's not a word per se. And like I think it like with this distortion, it's like it also represents the distortion of Sandy, and why like there's been multiple quote unquote Sandy dolls that have been showing up all this place.
Right.
Like
And
it's as though the womb really can't figure out what to give birth to.
Yeah, so the original, the Sandy that is inside 42 is the only original Sandy.
Mhm.
And what more clues? We got one from Star, right? One more from Star clue.
Well, we have one more from Star, as well as
You-
one more for this particular mystery. Which
Put
is
them into the
they
Zoom
are?
chat for y'all.
Mhm.
Okay,
Dolls,
thank you.
the dolls that seem to look like Sandy, which we've already explained. We've got the umbilical cord turned into a jump rope, which I think we also explained, right?
Yeah.
The anomalies, when impassioned, revert to their most comfortable form, and Director Star talking to Heartboil out of the corner of Gilbert's eye, as well as the sponge.
So the anomalies reverting to the original form are responding to the aborted versions of Sandy.
Yeah, like it's just like Sandy herself is like in a very naturalistic form, so like other types of anomalies are getting more comfortable, like such as General Burns, even though who is very very controlled, if that makes sense.
And through the corner of whose eye, Director Stars talks out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah, that's for Gilbert.
Yep. Yeah.
Which it's totally logical inside 42.
Mm-hmm.
Because you were since he talked to you to the corner of your eye, he was telling you what you witnessed after the birth of Sandy and the anomalies and the umbilical cord he was trying to talk to you in his other primitive language, since in that time also he was turning into the Swamp Thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like it was sort of probably it could have been like less about the conversation in particular and more about what I noticed about Director Star. So Director Star being influenced by the entity and just having this very strange conversation with Heartboil.
I think it's a good way to explain the question.
Mm-hmm.
Is it okay with all of you?
Let's go over it one more time. So, what caused the womb to appear?
The womb wants to give birth to Sandy, but it can't quite figure it out how. And I think sort of the entity that's currently within Site 42 is probably the closest that it's gotten so far to like giving birth, quote unquote. We've seen sort of the symbolic imagery of like the umbilical cord, but it's like being used in distorted ways like jump rope. We have dolls that look like Sandy, which is just various other less effective like instances of this birth.
You could say that like the sperms that couldn't make it to the
Mm-hmm.
couldn't make it to the womb.
Yeah.
And
Go ahead.
No, and the anomalies that are turning themselves are a reflection of not being given birth to Sandy before. You know, that's the response between the connection between the womb of the mother, the aborted Sandys, and the anomalies. And the star clues. The first one was the sponge was the advice. Since sponge is a world, it was the advice to come out. You know, that they could do, Sandy could be born. And what General Burns was talking about in the eye, no, what Dr. Director was talking in the eye to General Burns was all this information that he couldn't handle.
Sounds good.
That works for everyone else. Works for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Heartburn.
No, I hit my hand on my desk because I dropped it.
Oh no, you dropped your desk?
And
Oh,
so I did thumbs up and I was like, I'll just let my hand fall. And then it just clipped my desk.
oof. Ouch.
This is my life. This is all that happens to me every day as I hurt myself on accident.
All right. Marty, let's have you roll with +3. You're muted.
Sorry, 2d6. Right?
Mhm.
2, 2.
6 plus 3, 9.
Excellent. So the answer is correct. The womb has been trying to give birth to Sandy, and which is very interesting as to why it would make it appear. Because it just needed to be here to effectively like get it done, right? Okay. Intriguing. So, next up, we're going to do a sun paint scene prompt here. We're going to do the, let's see. I'm thinking we'll do the anomalous sustainability efforts. Sun has recently begun an initiative to improve productivity and reduce overhead by introducing anomalous means of generating resources for its staff. The results of this initiative thus far have been mixed, but very informative for the Council of Five. What horror stories about other sites have you heard regarding their anomalous supplies?
There's a rumor that an anomaly wiped out and killed an entire concert in Toronto.
And what were the resources that it was trying to generate for the staff there? Like, how does that
It hasn't to be true. I'm sorry. I was trying to combine it with Dr. Imogen's paperwork. So, what's the question?
So the question is, what horror stories have you heard from other sites about their anomalous supplies? Basically, Sun is trying to make things cheaper by using anomalies to make things like food and paper or whatever.
Okay. Oh, okay. So I misunderstood the question. I'm gonna pass it to the others, and I'm gonna think.
I think there's been sort of the food. At first, it was just an odd taste. It's sort of a slimy texture. Most people just pass it off. Well, it's kind of weird. Anomalies are just kind of weird. But then the horror stories began because like people started getting sick because, well, it literally was starting to melt the insides of their mouths because it was just so acidic.
This is a little meme and referential to my paperwork, so I'm going for it. Um, they introduced on one site a new blue lemonade that, when consumed, started causing cardiac arrest in several of the site members.
There's a big library inside 42, and the anomalies are changing the stories. Like let's say if you pick up Tom Sawyer, in the end he dies. And if you pick up Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, it turns into a pornographic book. And let's say if you pick up the biography of George W. Bush, you will see his addictions and like that sort of stuff. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that porn. So that's the in the library, and there's like the secret book of Scientology that says all the things that are true, and that's like this whole anomalies started changing all the histories in the books.
Now, I don't know if this is an issue that has been solved or is ongoing, but I heard that they were using anomalous bookkeeping techniques with their Excel spreadsheets, and there was a dropped decimal somewhere that well, I mean, when you have that many like placeholder values within your spreadsheet and it starts to corrupt everything, you begin to see like, I don't know, it would be irresponsible to say like blood coming from my computer screen in the shape of an Excel spreadsheet, but that's just what I've heard. It's hell on the finances though. Someone got a raise that wasn't supposed to.
Good.
Oh, is
Like,
this why mediocre cis het white men keep failing upwards?
Yeah, probably. It's all because of my bad Excel skills. I promise it'll be better. All right. So, what would everyone like to try to get done during the upcoming case file testing phase?
As I said earlier, I think John Burns will take Lafayette to his daughter, quote unquote.
Excellent.
Are we still in the break phase?
Yes.
Cool. I would like to use research and development.
Ooh, I forgot that there were moves that were available for the break phase. My bad.
It's okay. I forgot when it took place, so I had to go look.
Well, could you read that out, please?
Yes. Research and development. In addition to leading research initiatives in Site 42, your team has been charged with the development of tools for Sun personnel to use in order to combat anomalous effects. Once per break phase, you may use a clue from an active investigation in order to create a piece of equipment designed to utilize, counteract, or intensify an anomalous effect. Describe the item and what it does, and narrate a short scene in which your team creates the item. Each department head, including you, adds that to their office.
Yes. So, which clue are you using?
Whoa. Hmm.
There are a few.
I kind of, all right, just because dolls give me the creeps, I think it might be fun to use the dolls that look like Santa.
Uh-huh. To do what?
Um, okay, we have detainees, right?
Yes, that is one of Officer Lafayette's
Well,
moves.
I just need them narratively, not mechanically. So using detainees, Dr. Cerulean is going to invent a soul transference device to transfer the souls of detainees into the dolls that look like Sandy, to use them to explore any dimensional holes that we open up to make sure they're safe for our personnel in advance.
Huh. All
Was
right.
Dr. Cerulean inspired by the recent out-of-body experience that
Oh,
that
you
she
know
had?
what? That's actually a really good point. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Damn. All right.
I
Well,
did I did not consider that.
I guess everyone can add a soul rover in the shape of a
Ooh,
doll.
that's a great name.
Yeah, a sandy shaped soul rover to your office. I'll go ahead and get that in for Marty here.
I feel like we should have had a haunted doll watch like bulletin go off to like "Do-do-do-do-do-do-do, haunted doll watch should before that comes up.
For real. Everyone comes into
We'll
work
take
the
it.
next day. They all have just these scary dolls on their desks.
Yeah, Lafayette doesn't understand what he's seeing, but he will take it to see Sandy.
I wonder, on top of being an anomaly themselves, I wonder how many anomalies Dr. Cerulean is responsible for creating.
For real though. Oh, all right. So what would you like to be doing during this test-in phase?
Hmm. I think I said before that I was gonna go back to the womb, but I'm not actually sure that we really even need to do that because the real question is how do we transport this to
Yeah.
another place? So
And you can't leave Site 42 when you're studying a
Oh,
case
that's right.
file,
okay.
unless the field HQ is set up.
The field HQ is not set up at this point because Burns is busy.
Mm-hmm.
Then yeah, I'm just gonna be I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, but I'm gonna be working on that problem of like what are the logistics of interdimensionally transporting a massive uh anomalous entity in this fashion.
Superintendent mentioned the idea of all the four of us with Sandy last time.
I mean, I'm down if I'd love for that to be a big scene.
I mean, if you all want to go and chat with Sandy together, that sounds like a good time.
Yeah.
What about you, Dr. Cerulean?
Hey, I'm game to go interrogate a new subject.
Excellent. All right. In that case, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing set in person stuff. So we're doing Burger Store. The first prompt is paint the scene, which will be for everyone. And let's see here. I'm gonna do this. Everyone. And type it in the right spot, please. There we go. The second prompt will be for Aaron. And the third one will be let's say for Kyle, and the fourth for Chaotic. Okay. And that says everyone on the bottom there. It shouldn't. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move into the testing phase here. I'm going to read out the introduction here, and then we'll take our first break, and you all can think about your prompts. So, A-8176 Burger Store. A-8176 is an extra-dimensional fast food restaurant identifiable by its unique signage of a cartoonish hamburger creature with a cleaver embedded in its bun, as well as the large bubble lettering reading Burger Store, S-T-O-R. It was first brought to the attention of Sun when an employee at Site Redacted attempted to dine at a local fast food chain, but found it replaced with an A8176 instance. Upon entering the front door of an A8176 instance, an individual is instantaneously transported to a large, open, tiled area with multiple seats and tables scattered nonsensically within, with a large bar at the far end for placing orders, staffed by a singular animate version of the same burger mascot plastered on the storefront. Sun testing indicates that each storefront is actually a portal to the same extra-dimensional food court area, and that upon exiting the anomaly, one will exit the same location they entered from. Only one entrance into the burger store, controlled in its entirety by Sun personnel, is permitted to exist at any given time. Any reports of new burger store locations appearing outside of Sun sites are to be met with demolition teams sent to the location as quickly as possible, and for the entire lot that it was built on to be rezoned as public parkland to prevent new buildings from being built atop it. All right, let's go ahead and take 5, and we'll get back with that first prompt. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're going to start off with the first prompt here. Incident log A8176-I1. Staff only doors. RCU 305 Picky Eaters has been dispatched to explore and chart the burger store dimension and ascertain whether or not dispatching ingredient sniffers to the dimension would be feasible. Paint the scene, everyone. RCU 305 begins their investigation by approaching the order counter and recording the menu. Describe some of the alien meals for sale at the burger store.
Oh, okay. I'm the first one, right? So when you see in the counter, like in any fast food restaurant, you see you got the suicide burger, the sexual burger, the depression burger, the be an idiot and have it burger, and gender burger. And if you go with fries, it's +50.
There is a limited edition shake. The name is written in that Eldritch font that I forget the name of, that ends up with like text going all over the place.
Salgo.
Thank you. It is just a purple shake with whipped cream. I'm feeling very memey today. I'm sorry, everyone.
You can get all of the meals with a side of sponge fries.
Yeah, fuck you. That was gonna be
Oh
mine.
no! Oh no! I'm sorry.
Uh, yeah. I'm just gonna hold off on this one, if that's all right.
Yeah, that's all right. Let me put this in here. French fries. All right. Let's go ahead and start out. I think you're all just going to be in this testing chamber effectively. It's a very large, basically a big concrete box. And this version of Sandy that doesn't have an epidermis is sitting on a it looks almost like an armchair has been grown from the grass that she has been creating beneath her feet, but it's like made out of meat and it's thrumming and throbbing as if blood is circulating through it. And she's just relaxing on it as you all enter. That permanent smile plastered on her face in that she can't ever stop baring her teeth because she doesn't have a way to not. And you see the muscles contract as if to make the smile happen when you all enter. And I think she says, "You've brought him. Thank you." What do you all do?
So as you can see, she has been here for several hours now. I'm not sure exactly how much further she will continue to grow or supplement growth in other parts of the anomaly. As I forget the name of it. A-1005, 004.
Lafayette starts, takes out his gun. He
Oh
opens the
my
chamber
god.
and no, wait. Lies on bed. Starts to put 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 6 bullets, and he takes out the revolver. That's it.
Hmm. I think General Burns is just waiting, just very smiley as well, because it's just like, oh, this is neat. This is you don't get to engage with sentient anomalies all that often. So this is fun.
We have some of us more than others.
Mhm.
Arena, what are you doing?
I'm coming in like 2 minutes late after I'm 2 minutes late from where I was supposed to be. And I come in just the teensiest bit flushed and like adjusting my hair and just was disheveled, now looks very presentable. And oh right. Has she said anything interesting, good, or like
She is very concerned with Officer Lafayette, so this
oh
is why I requested that everyone come in.
oh that's right. And I turn to Sandy and just ask directly. So is Lafayette your daddy?
Dr. Cerulean, what are you doing right now?
Well, we can. I have a scientific solution for this. Um, So she's curious about two things. Let's do a paternity test. That's pretty easy to do. Second thing, her scalpel usually doesn't cut skin, but this thing's skinless. So she wants to find out if it goes beneath that layer or if it's just skin layer. I need a sample of blood anyway.
Incredible. I think she looks to all of you and then finally settles her eyes on you, Officer Lafayette, and says, in a sense, we're going to go to the next prompt here. Kyle, Aaron.
Thank God. I was like, oh, fuck, I read the wrong prompt.
Yeah, no, you got it right. You're fine. The animated mascot, Manning. Actually, no, you can read that one out. You do it.
Okay. So the animated mascot manning the cash register moves its upper bun like a top lip, clearly attempting to converse with RCU 305. But all that escapes the creature's mouth is a spatter of special sauce and the sounds of a meat grinder. The RDU cameraman ignores this and focuses on a glowing red door behind the creature, labeled with the white text, "Stav only." Upon pointing the door out to the rest of the team, Picky Eaters devise a plan to occupy the creature, while two of them break off to explore the room. So I think the members of RCU have, in preparation to go into a place that might make them hungry, they stopped at Frank's ahead of time and had themselves some delicious hot dogs and provided them from Frank special drinks. So I think when the animated mascot's mouth is open and making the meat grinder noise and the special sauce flying everywhere, they dump their delicious Frank's drinks and down the thing's throat while the other two go to the door.
Gross. Love that. All right. Very picky eaters, obviously. Eating fucking
Discerning
Franks.
palates they have.
Love the taste of ashes. Anyways. Sandy looks at you, Officer Lafayette. And after saying that, she stands up and starts slowly walking toward you, the grass spreading along the pathway as she does. And she says, "You don't remember a lot of things, do you?" What do you do?
I remember that I didn't have a daughter.
Are you sure? She says, taking another step. Are you sure that maybe the people you work for, another step, aren't toying with you?
I don't know who the fuck is toying with me, but you're not my daughter. Step 1 point closer, and I'll blow your fucking brains out.
She stops moving, but she doesn't stop smiling.
And stop smiling, you little fuck.
Officer Lafayette, she doesn't have a mouth to smile with.
Can't you see she's smiling? You creature of hell. Start talking.
I'm pretty sure she hasn't come from hell. She came from the mother.
Well, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. There's heaven, there's hell, and there's this. I don't have a daughter. I don't have a daughter. I don't have a daughter. I had a woman. She was the love of my life. We didn't have children. She doesn't exist. You don't exist. You're an anomaly. I don't fuck worms. You're an anomaly.
Ignoring that, I think General Burns will step forward. This form you take, did you choose it?
I think she considers for a moment, says, no. No, I didn't.
Sandy, don't fuck with me. Turn into a real person.
I'm as real as anything you've ever seen, Officer Lafayette.
Okay, I'm not your father. I'm Officer Lafayette.
If that makes you feel better. Dr. Cerulean, what are you doing?
I'd like to collect my sample from her, please. And thank you.
Oh boy. I think this is probably going to be the fright move with anomalous or vitality or physicality -1. But for you, you can roll with your logic because of your move.
Okay. Fright movie said?
Yes. What are you afraid will happen if you fail?
Oh boy. I think given that I have an open orifice on my stomach currently, I will get infected with whatever the fuck Sandy is.
It's worse than that. The womb will be able to birth more ceruleans.
Oh no.
And I think I'm going to have this at disadvantage as that whole experience with Harley not too long ago is still kind of rattling you.
Okay.
Especially given the transient nature of this whole anomaly.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and mark my static scalpel since I am using it in this little narration.
Excellent.
To roll normally. Okay, here we go. That is a 10 total. Oh boy.
Lovely. How do you do it?
So to help out, I'm a helpful colleague, and Lafayette's been complaining about her smiling. So I think I'll go into the face and sever the nerve that or the muscle that allows you to smile. And that's where I'll take my sample from.
I think that the way that this manifests is on screen. You start approaching her with the scalpel. She looks at you, and I think she knows what it is that you're doing, but she doesn't move at all as the scalpel, it doesn't go through in the same way that you're used to. There is this strange sort of vaguely swirling red and maroon energy that happens when the scalpel touches this meat, and it looks as if it's going into some sort of portal. And as you extract this little bit, you see the smile falter as she's unable to anymore, except for, of course, the part of the eyes that wrinkle up a little bit when you're smiling,
I
which
hate that.
which are still wrinkled. And yeah, I think
Don't love that.
you can have a sample of Sandy for your personal for your office.
Okay.
Superintendent Jarvis, what are you doing as this happens?
I'm watching intently as it appears that the scalpel enters an extra dimensional space in an attempt. Is that am I interpreting that correctly then? That like when it tried to get a sample, it like went through a portal that was Sandy's?
Yeah, yeah, effectively.
Okay. Now, I guess did you do that on purpose, or is that was that a like a thing that you cannot control? Because that's remarkable.
Everything went according to plan.
Well, I mean, I've seen some of your plans. So, I mean,
So you know the objective success of my work then.
I mean, I can't argue with results, but sometimes plan seems like a bit of a strong word, Imogen. But anyway, Sandy, this is hmm, this is a weird question, I think. But I got the sense that you were both you and also the mother, kind of like giving birth to yourself in a metaphorical, psychological, geographical, entomological sense.
Who isn't an extension of their mother when they're born?
Well, okay, I mean, yes. But like also the big question is like is the mother gonna keep popping out Sandys or more you, or is this a one-off thing? Is this a like obviously we want you to continue to exist. We just need to make sure that you can continue to exist safely in a place that doesn't, you know, happen to, you know, very noisily murder like a bunch of civilians on accident or purpose. Like, you know, and we're fine with that here, like honestly.
That's Jarvis' opinion. That's Jarvis' opinion.
I think she looks to you and she says, "Are you familiar with the concept of growing to meet one's surroundings?"
Yes.
I thought you might.
Still, most people would like a little bit of skin. That seems to be a little bit of a trouble for you.
It's very hard to create something when you only know well, to create something you're not familiar with.
True. It did take me a bit of time to understand the inside, so probably the sort of inverse problem of what you have.
We're going to go to the next prompt. Kyle, could you please read that out for us?
Absolutely. Upon opening the door and entering, the two members of RCU 305 begin sweating profusely in their sealed environmental suits, notable by the sounds of sloshing water that is picked up by the camera from this point forth. The area behind the door is an enormous void with green and purple pigmentation flowing in cyclical and splashy patterns. At the center of the void is a huge factory with a gargantuan hand crank attached to the side. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry. A giant disembodied, a giant disembodied floating white glove cranks the factory's handle. What happens each time that the crank is turned? Each time that the crank is turned, a brain falls from a chute onto into a chamber, and the chamber glows green and purple, and the brain floats, and the form of a person grows out around the brain, and looks out and makes contact with or makes eye contact with the members of RCU 305, and look at them and begin screaming at them. But nothing can be heard from inside the chamber. And then suddenly they continue to float, and they continue to age, and they continue to turn older and older until they clearly die, and clearly their body begins to disintegrate and decompose. That's the word I'm looking for. Around the brain, and it's clear that the brain, as it floats in space, the brain doesn't move from its fixed point in space, while the rest of the person lives and dies around it. And then finally the glowing stops, the brain falls into a little trough at the bottom, and you hear that sound, that meat grinder sound again, as the brain is then ground up and taken out of sight. And so that happens every single time that big hand cranks that crank on the factory of it.
Horrifying. Love that.
I'll be right back. The wind is blowing my trash cans around.
I hate when that
trash
happens.
cans.
Yeah.
Dr. Imogen, could you please take a few steps back? I want to try something.
Of course.
I think General Burns takes out a knife, because he always has his secret knives, and starts to effectively cut off his own skin, like sort of the palm of like his hand and stuff. He's trying to keep it hidden from Dr. Imogen, because he doesn't want to have her investigate him, because like that just wastes time at this point. Like, there's time for experiments, and there's time for containing an anomalies, and this is anomaly containment. And I'm just gonna hand Sandy some of my skin.
Huh. This is definitely gonna be the fright move. I think with anomalous or willpower -1.
That would be anomalous, please.
What are you afraid will happen if you fail here?
I'm less afraid of Sandy, and I'm more scared of Dr. Imogen becoming way too curious about me. Because it's just I don't really make a noise. I don't really scream when I'm taking myself apart, which is very, very unusual.
It's worse than that. Sun will see that their containment method for you has clearly failed and will have to try something else.
Oh,
Do you want to continue?
yeah, I do.
Let's have that roll.
Mm-hmm. Do we have anything in our office? Not really. I have a bunch of items, nothing useful right now. Tricorn hat polish, silly bands, a gun, but oh boy, that's a 12.
Oh,
Damn. All right.
I have a +2 to anomalous.
Nice. Superintendent Jarvis, what are you doing in this moment? This is probably like before the handoff happens. This is as I'm asking everyone else what they're doing, this will be like basically as Gilbert is carving himself to pieces.
Oh, not to pieces. Just a little bit of skin.
To piece.
Jarvis is in that really interesting emotional space that is occupying both sides of the line of horrified and deeply, deeply, deeply aroused.
Oh no.
And so they just stammer. I think they just stammer a little bit, like, um, ooh, mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to give you the condition afraid question mark. Maybe 2 question marks. Dr. Cerulean, what are you doing in this moment?
Well, I need another sample. It's Lafayette's turn. So she'll go over to Lafayette and be like, where would you like me to take your sample from?
You don't touch my fucking body.
I mean, you can provide the sample yourself.
He's in a bit of stress this moment, and he doesn't want to be touched, you know. And he's pointed a gun to someone who says he's his daughter, so
Would you
don't
like me to get you a sedative?
turn away. Please. Please, really.
Yeah,
Be
well,
human. I
Excellent.
know you understand the concept, but be human.
of course, I'm very human. I think at that moment, her tail pulls out a granola bar. She lifts her shirt, and her tail feels your stomach mouth.
I mean, maybe she can, maybe she can take a piece of hair and slightly, and Lafayette doesn't notice. You can try that, or maybe if that is okay, you do it.
Yeah, you can get a hair. If that's something that Marty's like, yeah, no, you can grab a hair from Lafayette without him realizing, then yeah, you could do that for sure.
Okay.
He thinks, no, he's up something like that. I'm scratching. So you took you took a sample from me, no problem.
All right. And Officer Lafayette, what are you doing as all of this is happening?
First, he can't believe what's happening, but also he can't believe that Superintendent Jarvis is trying to, well, do his thing with this anomaly. And he says, "Who is Jennifer?" Yes. Who's Jennifer? He asks Sandy. Who's Jennifer?
She looks to you and she says, that's the one that you had the original with, isn't it?
Don't fucking say the original. Don't you ever talk about Jennifer in that way.
Well, I'm certainly not the original.
No, you're not the original.
I'm based on a template.
And I'm not your father.
Maybe. Maybe not in the way that
So
you
why?
think.
So I'm gonna blow your brains out if you don't start telling now the truth. And I don't care because I don't have that.
And let's get this last prompt. Chaotic, could you please read the
Mhm.
fourth one?
Sounds of a scuffle are heard from the camera behind the door, and the cameraman turns around to see the burger mascot, now filled with gristle and flesh of their colleague, charging at the two. The cameraman manages to dodge out of the way, but the other member of RCU 305 is pushed into the void. Narrate the failed escape attempt of the last member of Picky Eaters. How did he manage to get the video back to Sun despite failing to escape the burger store? I think that we see, like, just from the perspective of the camera, of it just jostling as it's, like, running towards the door, trying to slide away from the burger mascot, who is just sort of almost, like, reaching their arms out, trying to grab at them. I think, like, they trip and fall, and, like, the camera just slides on forward, and we hear the crunching noises as the cameraman, it slowly dies. But then, oddly enough, the camera is still continuing to record, gets picked on back up. It's sort of goes towards the door, and it just pauses right before it leaves the burger store, as though the burger store itself wants to send this video back as proof of what you do, what happens when to anyone that disobeys the rules and regulations of this fine establishment, this fine eatery. After all, that place was staff only.
Excellent. You got a 12. So I think that what happens, or what will happen, is effectively you giving her the skin will placate her enough to where she can be contained. And as your bonus, she won't even try to attack Lafayette.
Yeah, I think General Burns is trying to teach her how to make skin effectively.
So go ahead and describe that.
I think as Lafayette is waving around a gun, trying to like talk to Imogen to like not steal his DNA sample, uh, Arena is just baffled and turned on by like the general vibes, apparently. And I just get a little bit closer where I mentioned like she doesn't like have a nose, like uh, so like if I get so close that if she did, like our noses would be effectively touching.
It's a nose-shaped vacuum of space.
Yeah, and I uh, just when I first wandered out in the world and I got hurts, they would see what's truly beneath me, and people didn't like that. So I had to teach myself to like what was underneath. They also didn't like that. So that's why I'm here. But this is a little bit of a nice way because you will be taught about how to look like them. act like them. They're quite nice once you get to know them. And once they don't really know what's underneath the surface. And I like press my uh, uh, piece of skin into her flesh. It's more of a pattern. You replicate it in symmetry again and again. You know what they look like on the outside. You see them, but they have not actually touched you yet. I think by observing myself, by incorporating my own flesh into your flesh, it should make the process a little bit easier to understand. We just want to help you.
I think that you watch as this piece of your skin sort of makes itself flush with the rest of her body, and you see patches of skin begin to appear around the rest of this musculature. And specifically, you are able to tell that it is patches. In fact, it is the same patch multiplying itself and very obviously sewn together with visible seams, as if she's getting the hang of it. She has skin now. She looks like someone made a patchwork suit out of another person and is wearing it, but it is skin. And she looks to you, and her eyes smile, even though her mouth can't. And she says, "Thank you. I wasn't expecting to be accepted. I suppose I can remain here for a little bit." Officer Lafayette, there is so much that you do not know yet. When you do know it, I will be here waiting. Find me when you're ready, or don't.
Again, just I look at lines and bells. So that's what Lafayette does is he starts singing, "There must be some way out of here," said the Joker to the teeth. And he goes, "Tack," but the bullet doesn't go.
Mhm.
There was an empty space. And he crumbles. He crumbles.
Mhm.
Superintendent Jarvis, Dr. Cerulean, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, we gotta go put him in.
Don't you, Abby? Don't you make love to me, Superintendent? Don't you make love to me, the Superintendent?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. Don't you worry. We're just gonna find you a place to sit down and relax. Maybe get you some I don't know what's the medical term for like downers.
Sedatives.
Oh yeah. That's you're a little, and so I'm gonna help Lafayette up and like take him by the arm and just like kind of lead him out, just like it's all right. You're gonna be okay. Why don't you?
Thank you.
I very quietly and gently take the gun and put it in my own pocket, just like all right. We don't need you walking around with loaded firearms.
You're right. You're right. Does Dr. Cerulean has tranquilizers? Could you ask her? Would you be so nice?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I will. You know what? Once I get you, I'm gonna sit you down, get you some coffee and a blanket, and then and then we'll shoot you up with horse tranquilizers. It'll be.
You rock. You rock, Rainer. You rock. You're great.
I know. Everybody tells me that.
Yeah, you. Yeah. And I mean, If there's one person that know how to keep secrets in this place that doesn't spy on people, it's you. I really trust you.
I mean, everyone has to trust their coworkers. You know, everyone has to trust their coworkers.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Dr. Cerulean, what are you doing?
Well, I have some samples to analyze.
Let's go ahead and have, I think we'll say this is going to be the research move here, but instead of a clue, I will give you a box for a project.
Okay. Cool. I like that.
This will be with logic.
Who best that go? Yeah, Mark. You say it.
And I don't
Oh.
think your condition's going to come into effect here.
That's fine. I just want the advantage. I'll take. Oh, the sample of Sandy is. Yep, I'll mark that. All right, let's get that advantage going. That is a 15 total.
Jeez. 2 boxes then. So
Am
there
I
are 2
also-
projects. Discover Lafayette's past and transdimensional travel.
Let's
Lafayette's past has 1 box already. If you put both of them into there, it would immediately resolve that.
Oh, I think we need to know, right?
Yes.
Yeah, let's just finish off the project with that.
Excellent. All right. So I think that the first thing that you learn is that, yeah, there is some biological link between the two. It doesn't necessarily. We're just saying it's like more advanced than a paternity test because it's super secret government stuff. It doesn't. It shows that it's not a direct like familial link so much as it almost seems as though this is a sort of divergent evolution path almost. Like something took the DNA structure of Lafayette and a human and then tried to make it better or at least different. And this Sandy is the result of that. And I think when you bring that to the people who have been working on getting into Lafayette's file, they do some searching in other places, specifically trying to get that like match with the DNA, match that to other files that are around, and they get a hit that on a file that has not been censored. And I think Officer Lafayette, as you are, we'll say this is, you've probably been in the med bay for like a day now. You're not at all tranked up anymore, but they're still keeping you in there for, observation as they tend to do. And especially with what is about to, this is the only time that anyone would have allowed anyone to talk to you about this because it could be very unfortunate for your mental health, depending. So, depending on how you take it. So, they go to your cot and they say Sunday and who's the other one? Let me double check that. Sunday and Sarah. And I think Sarah is the one who approaches you. She has a very comfortable looking hand knit sweater, baggy sweatpants, and loafers. She's got an average build and various gadgets and electrical devices strapped to her body that are beeping and whirring constantly. She's a woman in her 70s as well. She was chosen for your team due to her exceptional understanding of reality shifts and, more importantly, how to prevent them. She looks to you and she says, "So, we were able to find the unredacted versions of your file effectively. Well, we found the redacted parts spread out in other files and pieced them together from there, but the way that we understand it is that you have actually been working for Sun since your early 20s. When you first got here, you moved your family with you. You were married to someone by the name of Jennifer Gonzalez. Well, obviously Jennifer Lafayette by that point. And at your first site that you were stationed at, you moved your family to be at their above ground town. She was 4 months pregnant. Those 4 months went along easy. The remaining 5 months went along easily enough. You had minimal exposure to anomalies and everything seemed to be going well. You were able to make the birth of your first child. And our records indicate that her name was indeed Sandy. However, something happened a few years after the fact. And when you got back, you were investigating an anomaly that, well, frankly put, it uses the psychic energy of happy people, but especially children. The happier, the better. And it feeds on that. That anomaly ended up sort of latching onto you. And, well, your home life was great if the reports are to go by, and your kid was real happy. And I imagine she stayed happy after the anomaly took her because it wanted to keep that keep that happening. It wanted to keep that kid happy as could be so that then it could keep getting that energy. And after that, you kind of went ballistic. But you'd also already helped make that site one of the most efficient in Sun history. And if you went off the deep end, you tried to set off the on-site nuke and almost succeeded. Well, say almost, you got grabbed. And they wiped your memories right up until you were recruited. I think they've been changing your age in your head every time, too. The first time you were recruited, you were 20, but you probably remember being recruited in your, what, how old are you now? 60, something like that?
I'm in my 40s.
You don't carry it very well, sir. Sorry. It's all the stress, I'm sure. But
well, I think in my 50s. I don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's kind of the trouble with it, right?
Yeah, is Jennifer alive?
Well, that's the other part. They couldn't Mandela bacterium doesn't always work the best for certain things. It wants to specifically target trauma and things that the brain doesn't want to have anyways. It is very difficult for trauma to remove the innate love that a mother feels for something that she gave birth to. They weren't able to wipe her mind. She didn't remember who Sandy was, but she knew something was missing, and it didn't really. Well, she was fine for about 4 years or so after, and then, well, she also started kind of freaking out about everything, and it triggered the memories to come flooding back to you once she started saying things, and you went and tried to set off on-site nuke again. Different site this time. They moved you each time this happened. It's been a couple. And, well, suffice to say, after that second time, they didn't relocate Jennifer with you. I'm not entirely sure what happened to her. Its file says that they relocated her to a correctional facility. It's unclear as to whether or not that is a Sun correctional facility or a regular healthcare sort of facility. But
So talk to me. So talk to me in English. That thing that I saw there is my daughter.
kind of, we think that well, we think that Sandy grew up in that other place, wherever she got taken to with that first anomaly. She grew up all the way. And then, well, we don't know what the hell happened, but eventually A-1004 got a hold of her instead. And there was a report that we read from Superintendent Jarvis that I think we might have been a bit too late to save Sandy herself. She got kind of dissolved to make that one. I think when she says she's a template, she really meant that, sir. I don't think that's the real. I mean, I think that's as close as to the real thing that's going to be made, at least in a couple decades. It doesn't seem to have that great of a grasp on human anatomy and knowledge. I think that it had to come out here because, well, since Sandy was raised effectively from then on by an anomaly, she had too much. She was able to fight it better wherever they were. So it had to come to here where the laws of reality are a bit different. Yeah, sir. I don't think that yeah.
Do you know why didn't they kill me? I tried to nuke them 2 times.
You're just too good at your job.
Thanks for everything.
Hey, if you try to set off this on-site nuke, can you give us like a 2 days warning?
Yeah, you will the first person.
All right, cool.
Hey,
Yeah,
thanks for everything. Thanks for everything, really.
you too. Yeah, Sunday and I are gonna go get really drunk now.
You deserve it.
They both give like little salutes and walk off. And with that, we're gonna go to the clock out phase. We're gonna do this phase, and then we're gonna take another, say, 10-minute break, and then we'll do our last 30 minutes or so of our game here. So we collect rewards if an investigation was resolved. It has not been quite yet. However, I think I'm going to bend the rules a little bit because I want to see some of this stuff in play. We're going to go ahead and collect the rewards a little bit early because you will be resolving it. And I want to see stuff happen, basically. Yeah, I'm just not going to do the by default because this doesn't happen yet. Anyhow, the rewards are a 2-liter bottle of amniotic fluid taken from the amniotic pump. Add it to your office. A spiked ball tail end from a spider pony. Add that to your office. The unlockable move, Secrets of the Mother. The time that you and your colleagues spent within the womb of Mother's Beach, leaving no stone unturned, no fold unlifted, and finding its every secret hardened you, despite its intense gore and viscera. The department head that chooses this reward rolls all risk and anomalous moves made in response to scenes of intense gore or viscera with advantage. And 2 mementos from the investigation.
I would like the 2-liter bottle of amniotic fluid.
Yeah, that sounds about right for Dr. Cerulean.
I'll choose a memento that will be decided by Superintendent Jarvis, if he's okay. That's
Yeah,
okay.
sure.
I want the secrets of the mother.
Excellent.
I think you should have Secrets of the Mother because I stole sponge fries. Then, sorry, I'm looking at the last. Yeah, I want the spiked ball tail end of the bulwark.
Excellent. And what is Lafayette's memento, Jarvis?
Oh, the memento. It's it's the keys to the adult video store that was located so deep down in the in the will.
Nice. All right. Let's go ahead and resolve the staff move. General Gilbert Burns, you have 2 people assigned. Would you like to roll?
Yes, please. I am.
It's going to be +2.
Fuck no, apparently. That is a 5.
Oh boy. So I think that what happens here is your I think that Nicholas Virgo returns to you and says that he was able to escape it since he has experience exploring extra dimensional spaces, as the commander of the Dimensional Exploration RCU, but that Angus was not able to make it out of the pocket dimension that they were subverted to. They were trying to jump into a dimension of like pure science, basically, something that had a lot of technology and stuff already designed to help figure out like more easily controllable dimensional travel. Because right now they kind of just have this very bare bones thing where it kind of works sometimes, and other times what just happened happens, where you get sent to this dimension of incredible pain and suffering and just basically hell, but not necessarily the Christian kind. And Nicholas was able to escape, but Angus was not, unless you file paperwork.
I am going to file paperwork.
In which case, they both make it out, but they did still get sent to the hell dimension. So they're going to be unavailable.
Mhm.
However, you do get a box for a project, since that's what you had them working on.
Mhm.
And I imagine it's going to be that transdimensional travel, since that one is already done.
Yeah, since they've been to hell.
Yeah. To hell and back with Nicholas Virgo and Angus Hilton. New comedy series on the CW.
But it's the CW logo in the Zalgo font.
Yeah. Dr. Cerulean. You have 1, 2, 3 people out. You want to give us a +3 roll, please?
Sure. I believe they were also doing dimensional stuffs.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Guess what? That's a 13. Love to see it.
Oh, dang. Let's see, on a 12 plus, your team also finds a star clue. Those aren't really useful right now anymore because we have answered every question in the game. So instead, we'll just say that you'll get advantage on a roll later.
Okay.
So that's another box for transdimensional travel. I think that they report back that they were able to get a lot of readings from that subversion where Nicholas and Angus were shunted. They were managing like the console and stuff and taking the readings, and so they found some very interesting data that will help limit that from happening in the future. Superintendent Arena Jarvis, you have 1, 2 people, 3 people assigned. In fact, let's have your roll with +3, please.
All right. That's a 10.
Nice. Yeah, I think so. Heartboil was helping with the anomaly, the transdimensional travel stuff, because his weird anomalous socks. And your head of admin and accounting were kind of just there to help keep him probably controlled, because he's a little stinker.
Rambunctious.
He's a little
we like
stinker.
to say rambunctious.
Yeah, you also get that last box checked off for that project. So we have discovered transdimensional travel. And I think that they're able to figure out, it's like how anything has been so far. It has a lot to do with human desire and your thoughts as you are traveling and in travel. So you have to have like a very calm state of mind and a very purposeful idea of where and what you want to be doing in order to get it to work correctly. And next up, we have Officer Lafayette. You also have 2 people, so could you roll with +2, please?
It's 9 plus 2, 11.
Excellent. So your people come back fine as well. There aren't any more boxes or any clues or anything to get. So you get a useful piece of equipment. So you get to decide what your people have found, and then let me know, and I'll put it into your character sheet.
Okay. Just give me. I'll take about 2. Oh, can they have found the address of the house of the clinic where Jennifer is?
Ooh, Jennifer's address. Interesting. All right, you got that in there now. Now we're going to answer our questions. Did the department heads complete an investigation? Not quite yet. Also did not contain an anomaly yet. General Gilbert Burns, did you experience temporal drift? I think you did. I remember everyone experiencing it this time. I clocked it on all of y'all.
If you say so, I think I may have missed it and just accidentally wandered myself into it.
I think that's what happened, but I remember it happening. I don't remember what it was, but I remember everyone did it in this one.
Okay.
Did
I
you
believe you.
demonstrate unhealthy coping mechanisms? I would say.
I think it was more or less teaching Sandy unhealthy coping mechanisms.
A very hands-on demonstration, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. And did you demonstrate your authority?
Kind of, because I told Dr. Imogen to get back and like just let me handle this because I knew what I was doing and she did not.
Yeah. There you go. So you get 3 little promotion track points. Dr. Cerulean, you experienced temporal drift.
I do indeed.
Did you favor hard facts and data over morals and emotion? Yeah.
As per usual, yes.
Did you have an uncharacteristically emotional outburst?
I don't think so. She had a strong reaction to Lafayette freaking out, but I don't think it was uncharacteristically emotional.
All right. So you also get those 2. Superintendent Arena Jarvis, you get the one for temporal drift. Did you micromanage someone that you aren't in charge of?
I think I kind of did, especially when it was suddenly ordering around like, hey, it's time for drugs for Lafayette, and it's Lafayette, you need to go somewhere else now, and all that stuff.
Yeah. And you did, in fact, help your colleagues communicate effectively. I was there for that scene. I saw that. That whole testing phase was that. So you get 3 as well. I believe that means you get a promotion.
Full promotion.
Yeah. And Officer Lafayette, you get the one for temporal drift. Did you vent about your job's hardships?
I would say yes, right?
In which case?
In the case you were going to say, sorry?
Yeah, like with like the case of like Lafayette literally having been sent to like observation in the medical bay, I think it counts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fading out.
Yeah. And did you make an example of someone or something? I don't think so. No. Almost yourself.
Almost of Sandy as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the gun went off, then I would say yes.
All right.
Also, Lafayette does like have one promotion from last time.
Oh, okay. So can I have a new move?
You can increase an attribute by 1, or write a custom team or core move for your character, or you can choose a team move from an unused playbook. You can choose the move that you helped write.
Yeah, right. The one that the loner. You mean I can choose a loner?
Yeah, because that playbook isn't in use right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Cool.
go ahead and put that in your sheet for you. Let's see. Sarkon. Lone investigator. This. There. And then. Beep.
Thanks for reminding.
Yeah, no problem. Here we go. It is now in there. So that move says you can't always rely on others to give you the information you need in a timely or truthful fashion. But lucky for you, you were born with the ability to project your consciousness outside your body and investigate the residual psychic emanations left over from other humans. Once per research phase, when you are alone in a location and engage your mental faculty in order to learn what happened here recently, you may narrate a scene from the perspective of a side character and roll with anomalies. On a hit, the vision is accurate, and the keeper will reveal a clue for the most appropriate investigation. On a 7 or 9, the walls of your mind palace thin. You take the condition seeing things. On a 12 plus, you find more than you were looking for. Describe the side character's darkest secret, as well as how you learn this from your vision. All right. Cool. And do we have any other moves that resolve in the clock out phase?
I do have some paperwork.
Indeed.
I was wondering if we can do, just because I'm a mess and I don't remember if you can do the scenes where you clear condition. This is one when you can clear conditions?
You can have those moves. Typically, the virtuous move will happen during the research phase. There's no reason that it can't happen in like the testing phase during like a case file or anything, though.
No, but I just wanted to know.
Yeah, we can set those up here in a moment. Anyhow, yeah, let's get that paperwork.
I have marked the planar passage because that's
oh boy.
That's interesting, especially with General Burns. I think in the days after the whole containment of Sandy, I think General Burns is just thinking about why does he continue to have normal flesh? Like that's not really necessary at this point. Sure, it will affect sort of normal people that they'll be upset again. But frankly, General Burns hasn't talked to the normal person in months. It's possible they won't have to do that again. So let's not focus on creating flesh beneath the skin. I still need to look like sort of normal people shaped, so like that sort of thing. But I'm effectively jello beneath, so. So my new look is non-flesh beneath the skin, so.
Excellent. Love that. Anomalous 3. Big news. All right. I love this. Okay. I think we'll probably call it a little bit early this time. We'll go to stars and wishes because I don't think that any super meaningful stuff will happen in within 10 minutes during the research phase that'll be coming up. So let's go ahead and do stars and wishes.
Well, once again, I gotta give a star for Lafayette for raising the stakes in a situation that the stakes I didn't expect to be raised. Like, oh my God. I'm very concerned that he may just end up killing this Sandy clone. I'll be sad if he does, but I'll understand why. Star for Superintendent Ariana Jarvis for just showing up 2 minutes late. Not really doing much, but just being like, that's kind of hot. This for the majority of the scene. As well as a star for Dr. Imogen for actually being productive. And for me not rolling enough to get dissected by Dr. Imogen, because I'm so concerned about that. And oh man, just the sort of, as well as like the idea of like I wrote it in chat, a template? A template. Oh, what does that mean? I'm like, even though like we know Lafayette's past, I still don't know what any of this means. Like, this is just so scary. And I'm ready to just get scarier as General Burns. So that's a wish.
I'll
I
go.
can. Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
Star for chaotic for the whole flesh thing with Sandy. I thought that was great. I'm very excited to have someone else who's marked the planner passage joining me in the weirdo team. Uh, very happy about that. Um, Star for Jarvis for the kind of turned on thing is I'll always star the horny jokes. But also I really liked when you like stepped in to like diffuse the Lafayette cerulean situation. Like, let's get you some what's that thing called that you just said a second ago, Dr. Cerulean? Sedatives. I'd star for Lafayette for absolutely losing his shit. I love the brandishing the gun everywhere, threatening Dr. Cerulean. I thought it was all very good. Star for Steph, for the face you were making when I was doing my paperwork. That's a self-indulgent star, but also a star for playing Sandy. That's the real star. I loved the way you role played Sandy. Creepy as hell.
Like this is like a general star because the scene with Sandy, it became what all of us wanted, and every one of us played their character. I mean, superintendent, he was in this horny way. Dr. Imogene was trying to get samples and scientific at his best, and General Gilbert Burns is trying to understand, trying to get in the world, trying to and all that combined with Sandy in the middle, and and I think it starts to Steph also because this thing of going with the prompt back and then going with the scene prompt scene. It was just great, and thanks to all of you for letting me go, understanding that I'm playing, that my character goes over the edge, and it's not harmful, and I'll respect really the lies and bells, but you understand that Lafayette is the character. I mean, and that's something that I had to appreciate a lot from all of you.
I wanna give stars to both Chaotic and Marty for helping to like answer that question, the question of like why did Sandy, or why did the womb appear, like what was the big reason. I feel like this session we answered so many like big and important questions in really cool and really interesting ways. um and you know, I love how Lafayette breaks down as well. Like Lafayette goes hard, and then Lafayette gets right up to the edge and then breaks. It's so human. Like it's so human in a way that I find really interesting and cool. Because I don't know, I feel like it's very easy sometimes to like, especially playing role-playing games, everyone wants to be a hero and everyone wants to have like their power fantasy. So when you have your character choose to like break down and cry, you know, that's so cool. That's always so interesting, and it's always a fun moment. And so seeing Lafayette be like, I can't do this anymore, and being willing to end it, just like, oh, yeah, it hit my heart. I also just love how Dr. Cerulean's new appendages and orifices are just, they've got incredible comedic timing, which I think is not something that you can say for most human appendages. But Dr. Cerulean's appendages, just absolute masters of the craft of comedic timing. I also thought that I also thought that Burns being like really intense with Sandy was such a good scene, because it was very clear that there was like, I don't know, it was really cool. And the entire idea of just like, here, I'm gonna peel off a bit of my skin and you can, and teach you how to do this, because I've been doing this for a long time and you won't have to go through all the garbage I went through. Like that is, it's this incredible moment of like, hey, here's some true human emotion, like an act of kindness and solidarity, and it's horrifying. Like horrifying kindness, horrifying solidarity. And I think it it just exemplifies everything that Site 42 has done so well. And speaking of that, Steph, I love the case files. I like all of the case files. I love the fact that like we jump back and forth between like basically like reading our own little action report of you know, whatever SCP we're studying for the week. The case files are very cool, and I think that they add some really cool and interesting like flow to the session, because you have this moment that suddenly you jump to this quote unquote like unrelated thing where it's like, okay, now we're studying Burger Store. And through the play itself and its juxtaposition to the main narrative, it's like, this is important. There's a reason these two things are next to each other and they influence each other, and it's very cool. I really think it's quite cool. So those are my stars. My wishes are, I wish we could keep playing forever. Like I have really enjoyed this. I don't necessarily want the playtest to end, but like, you know, but yeah. So I think everyone's doing great. Have a great time.
And I just want to add a big star to Steph that I forgot for building Lafayette fast. Great. I mean, I'm heads off. You know, I mean, I just put like this sort of little secrets or little scenes, and you and you made a narrative with Lafayette. So I think Lafayette belongs as much as me as to you in the character. You know, as such a great history that you made. I forgot to say that, and it's incredible what you did.
Yeah. Yeah. So as far as real quick, before I get into my stars and wishes, I realized I forgot to present the reward for finishing Burger Store. This one is one of my favorite rewards because it's a little silly. A piece of Burger Store merchandise materializes on each of your desks. Describe it and add it to your office. Merch.
I think I have the Happy Idiot box. You know, the like in McDonald's. You know,
A Burger
Happy
Store
Meal?
happy box.
Yeah, but it's a Happy Idiot. It's called a Happy Idiot box. And
Love
he's
that.
so he loves it because I can be an idiot. I wish I could be an idiot. Lafayette just all the time.
Instead of the Burger King crown, it is the Burger Store tiara that appears in Dr. Cerulean's office.
A cheap plastic Happy Meal toy style toy that is a tiny stylized replica of the machine in the back with the big cartoon gloved hand and a smiling brain in a chamber, suspended in a chamber.
Excellent.
General Burns gets a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. I've been at burgers.
Excellent. All right. Now my stars and wishes. I really loved everything that was going on in this session. I had a blast playing as Sandy. I really loved everyone's reactions to all of the weird shit she was doing. Huge star to Marty for being willing to, for one, let me have that much narrative control over your player character. It was very fun for me to do and for me to be thinking of this whole time. So I appreciate the trust that you gave me with that, and I'm very glad that it paid off so well.
Great.
For for chaotic, I loved seeing how Burns got really empathetic in a way that we haven't seen from him before, because there isn't a lot of shared human experiences that he has experienced in a way that other humans can find relatable. So there wasn't a lot of empathy by the way that we know it up until this moment where he has met someone who is, for all intents and purposes, sort of the same as he is, right? So it was really cool to see that side of him show. It was almost as if he saw a younger version of himself in Sandy, like one of those old coming of age movies where the main character is looking at their annoying younger brother. They're like, you're actually all right. It felt like that kind of sort of scene, that vibe was there. And I really enjoyed feeling that out. For Aaron, I love how Dr. Cerulean gets from point A to point B. It's all incredibly direct and logical, and there is absolutely 0% humanity in those thought processes. And it's very impressive to see you be able to take that sort of character type and bring it as far as you've been able to. I feel like a lot of people would be tempted to make it more one-dimensional, but you have made it, you've effectively doubled down on the concept in a way that makes it even more interesting. It is very impressive. For Superintendent Jarvis, I just love how they just, after all of this shit that's gone on in the past session, and then immediately just back to business as usual, damn, fuck you, guy. This is great. I love it. Jarvis is such a skis bag, and it's just such a great time. Like they're so it feels like they're so cocky in their ability to pull things off that they don't even think about it twice when it happens, which is such an insane thing.
but there also, but isn't I think that the scene with with Lafayette holding him, there's sort of do you see the other side of the character, you know, sort of a redemption from what he's doing, because they're a good guy.
Yeah.
They're helping him, and so it's great to see that that kind of contradictions, you know.
Yeah, it really is. Uh, and I wanted to save this for last because I can go off about it forever, but I fucking loved that paperwork scene, Aaron. It was very pandering to me in specific, because so Dr. Cerulean as a general concept is something that has been in my head for years and years now. I listened to a song by Gooseworks, which is why I started freaking out the second that Aaron said that name. I was like, wait, what? Hello? Uh, called just Blue, the Blue Channel. And was it's a very good song. It has incredibly uncanny vibes to it that make you uncomfortable the longer you listen to it, which is exactly why I love it so much. I first heard that song and I sat down for like a day and I listened to it on repeat and wrote a short horror story about it. Uh, then years later, I would, find the gauntlet and I entered the public access writing contest. And I was like, well, that's a perfect concept for a mystery for public access is this short story. So then I adapted it to be public access. And uh, from then, put a little Easter egg of Dr. Cerulean being in Site 42 as a name combination. Aaron ran my Station 25-5 mystery that was based off that short story. So out of everyone, I think she probably knows the most about the backstory of everything that went into making that mystery because I like talking about it and about my creative process. So as you might be able to tell. And so now she's throwing all of it at me and I'm like, oh. Yeah, it was really great. I loved it. Uh, as far as wishes go, I'm incredibly excited to see how y'all are gonna, test out the dimensional containment theory and then do the containment move. The containment move is I'm pretty pleased with how it is as written. I'm excited to see if it works in the way that I am hoping it does. But yeah, that's about it for me. Does anyone else have any last minute stars and wishes?
Wishes. I wish General Burns could get more conditions instead of just failing rules that affect other people. uh, yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to next session's uh, uh, vulnerable moves effectively. See, because like everyone else has conditions and we need to clear some stuff. So, but I'm I'm looking forward to having like one-on-one conversations with like Superintendent Arena, just seeing like, hey, what do you think? How do you think Lafayette is doing? Lafayette's not doing so hot. Like it's there's not much worse that you could go before like he just
Don't talk to me about Lafayette right now. Take your shirt off.
Jesus Christ.
for you.
Incredible.
Sorry.
My wish is
God.
that after this playtest, we could all play another CFB. That's my wish.
Mm.
That's always the wish.
I would love to. I'm gonna have to keep Mondays open for like I'm thinking Mondays are probably just going to be my playtest days. So once I have more stuff written out, I'm going to be putting more things out into the gauntlet and stuff. But that's besides the point. Thank you all very much for joining me today, and thank you everyone who may be watching for watching, if indeed you are. And yeah, that'll do for today. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.